The Utilities and Streets Committee is called to order. President, Councilman McLaughlin, myself, Mayor Shag, Mr. Ensman, Mr. Geis, and we have someone else with us, Mr. Pinwell, so that's always good. Thank you for coming. So without further ado, Mr. Ensman.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm having internet connection issues here, so in case I cut in and out, that's the reason why. So hey, we're gonna get this thing started. I put the first slide here with the Utilities and Streets Committee meeting for November 12, 2020. We're gonna be looking at the downtown enhancement project. The downtown enhancement project is scheduled to begin next year. One additional item being discussed and planned for the enhancement project is the installation of a decorative arch spanning over Main Street. The arch was not in the original engineering plan presented to council earlier this year. The planning and engineering for the construction of the arch was recently discussed at the November CIC board meeting. CIC board members, Mr. Joe Geis and Mr. Jake Penwell, are with us this afternoon to discuss the arch.
We are here. So,
sir, so you
hey, just so Jake, we had a discussion with Path Forward, which is more like the executive committee of CIC. So, Jake, do you want to start first and all?
Yeah, sure. And I'll piggyback and stop me or, with whatever you guys are thinking about. We have been meeting with much success on our fundraising, our private fundraising goals. And if you know a little bit about the project, we've probably driven it down your throat so many times, you all do, but there's 3 phases of the project. One being this Main Street streetscape portion, which is funded, designed, engineered, waiting for ODOT approval. One portion of that first phase, though, was an arch that spanned over Main Street. We knew from the get-go that that was not going to be something that ODOT or regional planning dollars were going to be able to fund. It just doesn't fit in that mold for them. So that bumped to our private fundraising section, which is all of phase 2, which is the Black Fork Commons Plaza upgrades. We had somebody early on, we have different naming right level opportunities in the fundraising world. And that was a $200,000 gift that we had an individual group step up and say, we would like to purchase that, which was super, super exciting. By the way, we have met with a lot of success in the fundraising world and much more to come on that as we continue to have good news come back towards us. But with that being said, I guess the only thing we're really talking about right here is this decorative arch. And since that's been funded, we felt that it was probably, although it's a private paid project, that it was probably time to start the conversations about at least the designing and engineering on that to work it into phase 1. It doesn't make sense to start doing some of this work, having to rip it back up, fresh new work, and doing it again. So with that being said, maybe Joe, can I kick it to you to talk a little bit about that portion of it?
Right. So like Jake said, we did not want to, either we were going to have to make arrangements for this arch during the downtown enhancement project or so forth. I thought, in talking it over with the other group, it's just best to make it part of the conversation of the project. That way, the electrics run to it. We're not going in and tearing things back up after it's already all done. So we did get with the engineer. They've got a quote for just for the engineering for that arch. And our next step would be get back to council once everything's designed to get it included in the project, obviously with the funding from the CIC to get this incorporated in the project so it looks seamless, looks like it belongs there after it's up and so forth. So that's why this is an update to the Utilities and Streets Committee of Council about that arch and what our next steps would be. If there's any legislation or anything like that, but the CIC is totally funding this arch. So I think that's a very neat thing and looking forward to
Yeah, with that being said, I'll just piggyback on, we have the funds available from other donations that are coming in. We have a significant amount of our contributors that want to make a contribution in the 2020 year for financial purposes to get some off of their books in this year. So we'll be seeing even more of a trickle effect. The Shelby Foundation, our Kickstart donor, $250,000 paid half of their portion at the beginning of 2020. So we've had that money. So as far as the designing and engineering money, as far as for this project, we have the cash to be able to write a check to pay for that. Now, I'm speaking on behalf of being the president of CIC, but certainly we have a whole board that needs to make that decision and vote on that to make sure that's okay. We did have a meeting last week and we told them this is what will be forthcoming. But you know, the whole project and when you move into phase 2 of it also, you know, we don't have physically in our checkbook the amount of money to pay for that all right now. However, we will by spring of next year, which is when any construction will be happening. However, we have the money to pay for all the designing and engineering, more than enough to pay for that. So that's not an issue from a financial standpoint for us to pay that privately.
So we need to, the project's due to bid, open bids right now on July 5th. So to get this incorporated in the project, we need to get moving right away to meet all the deadlines and so forth. So if this was just a, you know, present this to council, I'm sure it'll be reported Monday night. And if any other council members have any question, concerns, and then we can get started on this. So.
Really cool.
Yeah, very nice.
And for Steve McLaughlin and Nathan, we will be getting with council and updating you on the other portions. It's not meant for this meeting right now, but just so you kind of know an update of what's coming and the success that we've been meeting with the project. It's been great and people have been very generous. So we're in a good position. We're very fortunate in Shelby.
Jake,
Yeah.
Did you say thank you, Jake?
yep, I said thanks,
Oh.
Jake.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought it, yeah, okay, got it. That's very good.
I
Yep.
thought you had a question. Yeah, yeah. Well, we all want to thank Jake and Harry and Cody and everybody. It's really been an
Absolutely.
unbelievable
Mhm.
venture.
I
into
never
capital.
said I was thanking Jake.
Just for the record.
I'm
So
joking.
clear
I'm
the air.
joking. Thank you.
You guys got
No,
any
things are
questions for Jake?
going to be
Absolutely.
good. Yeah, if you have any questions, you know, now is good. If you can always reach out to me anytime you want. But like I said, we'll Path Forward will be reaching out to you guys shortly, just to give you an update, so you know the success that we've been meeting. People are generous. We're very fortunate.
Just make sure on the arch, Jake, when it says Stephen L. Shag, just one G, not two G's. Some people don't
Okay.
know my last name.
That's good. It'll be just this much smaller under Penwell.
Yeah.
Good.
Very nice.
Okay, very good. Well, we appreciate it. I don't think. Do you need me for anything else?
I think we're good.
We hope we
Okay.
don't need you for anything else right off the bat.
That's right. Yeah.
You're
The
right.
funeral's
Not
the best
soon,
number
not
for that.
Eventually yours.
Okay. Thank you all. Let me know if
Thank
you
you,
need
Jake.
anything.
Thanks.
I want to bounce off. Yep.
All right.
Very nice.
That is too cool.
Yeah, it is. All right. So you're gonna slide me down to, there we go. All right, anything else from the committee on that note, or moving on? Guess we're moving on. All right, Light Plane Outbuilding demolition update. Page Demolition Excavating will be performing the contracted demolition work to the Light Plane Outbuildings. Demolition cost is at $101,850, pending no change orders. A pre-demolition meeting was held on Wednesday, October 28th, to discuss the project details with the contractor. Some items discussed were the asbestos abatement, removing items from the building before the start of the demolition, orchestrating the demolition around Mama's Pizza, utility disconnects, time and days allowed for the demolition work. Times would be from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And the days allowed would be Monday through Saturday, no Sundays unless authorized by the mayor. The demolition of the outbuildings is tentatively scheduled to begin after Thanksgiving. The contractor has plans to start moving items from inside the building before the demolition begins. The buildings are tentatively scheduled to be raised by the end of the year. So, any questions there? Moving on. All right, natural gas aggregation mailings. Volunteer Energy has recently mailed a natural gas aggregation letter to eligible Shelby residents and businesses. The letter was sent out to notify Shelby customers of the upcoming renewal period for the program and to disclose the natural gas rate. Some important items to note about the aggregation program. The program was established in 2015 with the passage of the gas aggregation ballot during the general election. The aggregation program runs for 2 years and then has to be renewed. Upcoming program period for this period would be for December 2020 through November 2022. Eligible residents, Shelby residents and businesses receiving the letter, what kind of falls within eligibility, current program participants or residential and small commercial businesses using less than 5,000 cubic feet per year that are on the Columbia Gas of Ohio Standard Choice offer. Also to be eligible would be those who have the budget billing for their natural gas. They do become eligible as well for this program. Those that do not participate or not eligible for this would be the percentage of income payment plus customers. So those are on some form of already assistance. They will not receive this mailing. Columbia Gas, another bullet point here for the important kind of items to note. Columbia Gas will still end up being the mailing provider. So Columbia Gas is going to send the monthly gas bill, but Volunteer Energy will be listed as the natural gas supplier on the bill. So Columbia Gas will send the bill. Within the print on the gas bill, it's going to state Volunteer Energy as the gas supplier. Right here, Joe.
Oh, go ahead.
Yep. So the natural gas aggregation, we're going to continue on here with this conversation a little bit here. Residents receiving the letter are automatically enrolled in the aggregation program. Residents receiving the letter that do not want to be in the program will need to opt out. Opting out options, as stated on the letter, residents can mail in the opt-out form or by calling Volunteer Energy. Mail-in option, there is a mail-in option form enclosed with the notice that can be mailed to the City of Shelby Governmental Aggregation Program, Volunteer Energy, 790 Windmiller Drive, Pickerington, Ohio, 43147. Or you can do the simpler method here would be the call-in option. It could be done by calling Volunteer Energy to the 1-800 number to speak directly with the Volunteer Energy representative. If any of the residents have any questions about the program, they're welcome to call the Shelby Utilities Office for assistance. Mayor, do you have a question?
No, I'm glad you brought this to everyone's attention because I think it can be a bit confusing when you get these letters. And just again, like you said, you're in unless you opt out, and that was the way it was presented at the very beginning. And there's no opposition to opting out. But most, I think, have found staying in has brought them the best pricing. And Ontario just voted now to enter into a gas aggregation in the city of Ontario. So I think it's been a good program for the citizens of Shelby.
Yeah, I think so too. We've been receiving a couple phone calls here at the office. People just wondering if it's junk mail or not. I know Mr. Geis has received a call or two as well. So I thought just kind of put this out there. Maybe the Globe can run maybe a little article on this just to let everybody know that it's not junk mail, that it is a letter being mailed out by Volunteer Energy for the City of Shelby Gas Irrigation Program. Mr. McLaughlin.
Two questions. Do we have any idea how much we've saved the community, like in a 2-year period overall, if we combine something, a number?
We do have a number from when we went through the aggregation discussion back, I believe in May. I had to pull my notes out on that, Steve. I had to get that number to you. I could get it over.
I don't need exact. Do you have an estimate, John? Take a guess.
I think it was if I remember right, $53,000 or something like that. If I remember right.
Okay, thanks. Second one is any idea how many people have opted out?
Very few. From the information I've received from Volunteer Energy, I don't have the exact count, but it's very few. Most that receive the mailing stay in.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions on that before we move over to last topic of the day? All right, electric power loss study results. Metis Energy Solutions performed a study to determine the power loss within the electric distribution system. And this is what we've been discussing in the last committee meetings. The review period for the electric loss analysis was from January 2017 to September 2020. 3 years and 9 months or 45 months worth of monthly data collection was used for the study. Historical data from the selected period reviewed the energy received and metered from American Electric Power at the substations to the energy consumed within the electric distribution system. So coming from AEP to our substations, to what's actually consumed and metered within the city of Shelby's electric distribution system. Those are the 2 points of data that we were looking at. The data being reviewed was looked specifically at the combined amount of kilowatt hours metered at the Northside substation and the George Hawk substation compared to the amount of kilowatt hours metered within the electric distribution system. The study was searching for the difference of the loss between the 2 kilowatt hour metering points. The 2 points being the kilowatt hours metered at the substations compared to the kilowatt hours metered within the electric distribution system. Moving on there, Joe. The historical data was utilized from 2 sources, AEP, the monthly AEP monthly invoices. The invoices provided the kilowatt hours metered at the substations and the billing journals from the utilities office. The journals provided the kilowatt hours consumed or registered within the electric distribution system. And calculating the loss, this would be the difference between the kilowatt hours registered or metered at the substations compared to the total amount of kilowatt hours registered or metered throughout the distribution system provided the calculated loss. So the results from the loss analysis study are shown in percentage of loss per the number of months. So that'd be on the next slide. There you go. So up top here in the blue, it says the annual loss percentage. You got the start period, end period, number of months, and the loss percentage. So looking at the January 2017 to December 2017, that 12-month period there, losses registered at 6.62%. January to December 2018, that 12 months, we registered 5.14% loss. January 19 through December 2019, that 12-month period there, we registered 4.36% loss. And from January 20 to September 20th, at 9 months there, we averaged a loss of 1.24%. So we're looking at the cumulative loss percentages going down to the bottom towards the scale there. The start period, end period, number of months, and the loss percentages. So if we look at January 2017 to December 2019, 36 months there, we had an average loss of 5.37%. So if we start looking at January 2017 to September 2020, this is the 45-month look back, we registered 4.53% in energy losses. October 2017 to September 2020, the 36-month period, we had an average loss of 4.44%. If we're looking at October 2018 to September 2020, a 24-month period, we had losses at 3.38%. So you can see it's scaling down. So next slide there, Joe. So the conclusion per the Metis Energy Solutions final report, the loss factor for Shelby from the 138 kV wholesale delivery points from the substations to the customer's meter averaged 4.53% from a 45-month review period of historical data to a 3.38% loss from the last 24 months of the historical data. So going forward, Metis anticipates the 3.38% loss factor to be more accurate representation of losses for Shelby given the installation of the Shelby solar array. It's another benefit of having behind the meter generation, specifically with the solar. Metis recommends utilizing a 4% loss factor within the Shelby rate formulas as compared to the current 6% being utilized. The 4% recommendation allows varying different distribution system conditions to exist, thus accommodating losses above and below 4%. For example, from a historical analysis, the losses to date from 2020 produced 1.24%. Losses from 2019 produced 4.36%. Losses from 2019 to 2020 produced 3.38%. Thus, the recommended 4% falls in between the values as intended. Next one over there, Joe. One up. We skip one. Can you go, Joe? Can you go up one? I'm sorry. Go back down 10. I'm sorry. There you go. So the power loss study concluded the energy losses across the city's electric distribution system to be less than the present power loss multiplier that's being used to populate the quarterly fuel and purchase power adjustment. The power loss multiplier being used is currently at 6%. The findings from the study indicate the loss has been determined to be approximately 4%. The lower power loss multiplier will reduce the quarterly cost per kWh adjustment to the electric ratepayers. So below here is the fuel purchase power quarterly adjustment calculator. So if we just simply look at the previous 12 months of fuel purchase power cost divided by the previous 12 months of net kilowatt hours times the multiplier. Right now the multiplier is at a 6% loss, so the multiplier is 0.94. So if it's changed to a 4% loss, it's going to be multiplied by 0.96. And that's going to equal out to the fuel and purchase power charge. Okay. All right, we've kind of seen this slide a couple of times, but we added a little bit different in here. Up top here, you can see from this would be the 12-month period from July 2019 to June 2020, quarterly adjustment with a 6% loss. So the calculation, looking at the dollar spent to the kilowatt hours consumed, there is a fuel purchase power rate of 0.087975. If you go right across to the right of that and look at a 4% loss, that equates to a 0.086142. So you can see the difference here, and just with the loss multiplier. The line below that would be the senior disabled 10% discount rate. So with the 6% loss, that rate would have came in. Right now, it comes in at 0.079178. With the 4% loss, that has a difference over to a 0.077528. So there is a difference. You can see it's a slight change, but over time, that's really going to start multiplying itself out. So it's a small change, but as time goes on and we multiply this quarter after quarter after quarter, it's going to make a big difference. Next slide here, Joe. So what does this mean? Our electric distribution system is operating more efficiently. There's less electric loss within the system. The lower power loss registers an increase in energy efficiencies in regards to the amount of actual energy consumed compared to the energy loss within the electric distribution system. The addition of the behind-the-meter solar array is a contributing factor as to why our electric distribution system is operating more efficiently. What will this do for the ratepayer? This will lower the cost per kilowatt in the quarterly rate adjustment. The percentage of reduction may not appear to be present a large reduction in efficiency, but the cumulative savings within the cost per kWh over time will produce a noticeable savings for the ratepayer. And what we have going forward with this is legislation has been prepared for the November 16th council meeting to lower the line loss multiplier from 6% to 4%. And that's all I have. A question for Mr. McLaughlin. Yes, sir.
Yeah, John, I can't understand. Explain a little deeper why the addition of the solar array contributed to this.
It's actually because of the behind the meter generation that's sitting there. So we're actually going, instead of not going through the transformer at the substations, which it does equate to loss there, this is actual energy that's actually consumed and produced right here, produced then consumed on our distribution lines. So it's that loss going through the system, through the transformation from a 138 to the low side of the 12,470 kV.
Okay. And my other question was, so the solar, that's been up for 1 year, right?
Yes, it's almost exactly 1 year, correct.
Okay, but we've seen we've seen a decrease in the loss for the last 3 years, is it?
Correct.
And
Yes, it's steadily going down.
what's the additional reason why for the decrease in the losses before the solar was there?
Well, we know we made some improvements to the system. We have the LED lighting, just work that's been done in the field. Just changing out the capacitors and such, just internal work on the system itself, just made it more efficient.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing. Any other questions? Nathan, you have any questions or comments?
Scurrying for my mute button. No.
Hey, John,
Yes, Mayor.
we might mention that there's going to be legislation on Monday as well in regard to the West Main Street sewer lateral assistance. So this has been something that we've worked on long and hard, produced, I think, a solid piece of legislation with our bond counsel, Mr. John Larson, and sure appreciate his expertise on this. And so it will result in, if it passes council, it'll afford an application for funding assistance under the City of Shelby's Environmental Water Quality Protection Grant Program. And so the details be clearly laid out in the piece of legislation, and then a very simple application form to facilitate what council has expressed they want to do in regard to this project. And bottom line, giving some help here financially for lateral installation and decommissionings of septic systems. It's been a long time coming.
And it has. A lot of work.
Mr. Steve.
Okay, there was an email, forgive me, I don't have it in front of me, but there was an email from one of the property owners in the last week that asked, I think, kind of where we stood at that. Did somebody reply
Yes,
to that? Okay,
I play privately. I
Thank you.
mentioned, I think we all agree, when I was on council, I didn't want to read about the details of a piece of legislation in the newspaper or through another email. So I replied privately, and yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
Hey, yeah, while we're on here, Joe, I thank you for the exterior property maintenance reply. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Nathan, you have anything else?
No, sir.
Very good.
All right.
Oh, just as planned by, I told you, the last 30 minutes. We're right at 4 o'clock.
All right. Awesome. I'll
Hey,
see you guys on Monday.
Yeah, I'm gonna be calling in to the council meeting like Garland.
Very
Yeah,
good.
we'll have two of you on. So we're planning on going to executive session by just emptying out that room and just staying in that room for executive session.
I don't know if I can start and stop that recording though, so we may have to, we'll talk later.
Oh yeah, okay, we'll figure it out. Yeah. Put a piece of tape over the lens and put your hands around the speaker or the receptor. Okay, we'll figure it out. Very good.
Yeah.
Have a nice evening, everyone. Be safe.